Every morning, millions of people perform the same ritual. They wake up tired, make a cup of coffee, take the first sip, and within minutes, they feel alive again, more focused, more alert, more energetic. It feels as if the coffee just injected energy directly into their body. But what if that feeling isn't real? What if coffee doesn't actually give you energy at all? What if your brain is falling for the same trick every single morning? To understand what's really happening, we need to follow the journey of a single cup of coffee inside the human body. The moment coffee enters your stomach, most people imagine caffeine instantly rushing into the bloodstream like fuel being poured into an engine. But that's not what happens. Like caffeine contains virtually no usable energy compared to the calories that actually fuel your body, yet somehow you feel awake. So, where does that feeling come from? The answer begins with a tiny molecule inside your brain called adenosine. Throughout the day, your brain constantly produces adenosine. The longer you're awake, the more of it builds up. Think of it as your brain's natural fatigue signal. Every hour you stay awake, adenosine levels rise, attaching to receptors in your brain and slowly creating the sensation we call tiredness. By the time you wake up in the morning, especially after a poor night's sleep, adenosine is already influencing your brain. This is where caffeine begins its deception. Instead of creating energy, caffeine sneaks into the brain and physically blocks the receptors where adenosine normally attaches. The tiredness signal is still there. Your body is still fatigued, but the message can no longer be delivered. It's like disconnecting a fire alarm. The fire hasn't disappeared. You've simply stopped hearing the warning. Within about 20 minutes, caffeine starts spreading through the bloodstream. Your brain interprets the sudden drop in perceived fatigue as a sign that something important has changed. Alertness increases, focus improves, reaction times become faster. But here's the surprising part. At this stage, your body hasn't gained any meaningful amount of energy. You've simply removed one of the strongest signals telling you that you're tired. As the caffeine reaches peak concentration, another chain reaction begins. The brain responds by increasing activity in several regions associated with attention and vigilance. Stress hormones, such as adrenaline, may rise slightly. Heart rate can increase. Blood pressure can climb. Your body enters a state that resembles heightened readiness. Now, this is why many people describe coffee as a boost of energy. In reality, it's closer to a temporary shift in brain chemistry that makes fatigue harder to notice. Imagine driving a car with a warning light flashing on the dashboard. Instead of fixing the problem, someone covers the light with tape. The issue still exists, but now you don't see it. That's remarkably similar to what caffeine does with fatigue. The sensation of exhaustion hasn't vanished. The signal has simply been blocked from reaching your conscious awareness, but the story doesn't end there. Your brain is incredibly adaptable. If you drink coffee every day, it starts adjusting to the constant presence of caffeine. Over time, the brain can create additional adenosine receptors. This means more caffeine is required to block the growing number of fatigue signals. The cup that once felt powerful becomes less effective. One cup becomes two, two become three. Many people assume they're losing energy as they age, when in reality, their brain may simply be adapting to a daily caffeine routine. This adaptation explains why skipping coffee can feel miserable. Without caffeine occupying those receptors, adenosine suddenly has access to more pathways than before. Fatigue feels stronger, headaches may appear, concentration drops. Many people interpret this as proof that they need coffee to function, but often they're experiencing the temporary effects of their brain readjusting to life without caffeine. There's another fascinating twist. Timing matters. Many people drink coffee immediately after waking up, believing it's the best way to start the day. Yet, shortly after waking, the body naturally releases hormones that help increase alertness. Some researchers suggest that waiting a little while before consuming caffeine may allow these natural wakefulness systems to do more of the work on their own. So, does coffee actually give you energy? Not in the way most people imagine. It doesn't create energy from nowhere. It doesn't magically recharge your cells. Instead, it temporarily blocks one of the brain's most important fatigue signals, making you feel more awake than you otherwise would. The next time you take that first morning sip and feel the familiar wave of alertness, remember what's really happening. Your brain isn't receiving a delivery of new energy. It's experiencing one of the most successful biological illusions in modern life. And every morning, millions of people unknowingly fall for the same trick.